All right, so how many of you actually out there are trading from a laptop, or some of you may be trading from your, personal computer like a desktop, to where you may be in your own environment or workspace in your office? Okay, I want to list today or talk about some pros and cons of using a laptop to trade futures and versus using a desktop setup. All right. I personally am trading from my desktop environment within my home office. But I will talk about the perks as well as having a laptop and being able to, trade off of that, regardless of, maybe you trade Forex, options, futures, whatever markets you particularly trade. I'm tied to the futures. I've been doing it for 14 years now, a little bit more than that. And primarily when I'm home, I'm using my desktop computer. Now, what are some of the pros of using a actual laptop? Of course, you should know by now that it gives you the accessibility or capability to be able to move freely within your home environment and trade from no matter what room. If you're in your, let's say you're sick or you're down, you have an ailment or illness that you're dealing with, you can still be able to do so if you're getting some rest or sitting from your bed in your bedroom. So you can basically trade using a laptop that way. You can trade outside on your patio, your deck, to enjoy the summertime. Some of you may like being outside when it's cool outside, but for me, it can be as simply as going outside under the umbrella, while I'm cooking up something on the grill. I'm able to sit back and, enter a trade if I see a nice setup and sit down, have a nice sip of tea or something like that and place a trade. Okay. It just depends. If I want to cook up some lunch, some early dinner, I can have my laptop outside if I want to. Or if I just want to be outside, relaxing in a lounge chair, and have my laptop there just to kind of get some, a breeze, get some air from outside, some fresh air. That is a good opportunity and a reason why one of the pros of having a laptop, being able to not be tethered or tied to, any particular wired in any particular system, but being able to remotely just kind of remove about your own home, whether you're upstairs or downstairs, have a one level home or a two level home, or some people may have a 3-level home. Just being able to have that freedom to where you can move, about, because not everybody likes to sit at a chair for a few hours and just sit in front of the charts. And I do recommend getting up from time to time to take a break, because you don't want your eyes to get tired, your mind to get cluttered or get a little bit cloudy, especially, when the market is maybe ranging and you're not clear as far as the direction of the market. So yeah, that's the pros of actually, excuse me, of having a laptop and being able to trade from it versus a desktop computer. Now, with the desktop, one definite pro about having one, I believe they're more powerful. Okay. You can do more upgrades to them. All right. And make them more powerful than an actual laptop. Now, there are some very powerful machines to where you can actually even game on, which, would definitely make good setups for trading. But with a nice, powerful desktop machine, you are able to make upgrades as long as your motherboard allows you to make the upgrades up to certain specs. But still, to me, they're just more powerful, and just the accessibility and having direct access to make upgrades if you want to, better video cards, or faster processors, and things of that nature, more RAM. So to me, I think a desktop environment is, to me, that's just me speaking opinion wise. I rather trade from my desktop versus an actual laptop. But those are some of the pros of having a desktop. Now, one of the additional pros of using a desktop computer as well is the fact is, if you are directly tied into, say, for example, your Wi-Fi, which is feeding to your router, and to me, you're wired in, okay? I don't have to worry about that latency time period or interruption of Wi-Fi, okay? I'm directly tied in, and if anyone's out there having to worry about, receiving, or am I receiving, the data quick enough as it's coming into, from the exchange side, and, you get it in real time, there could be some interruption if there is Wi-Fi, of course, because Wi-Fi is, signals of basically frequency that are transmitted from, your Wi-Fi back to your laptop, and even possibly your PC, if you have a wireless card or adapter installed on your desktop machine. Okay, but I just believe, to me, being tied into things and tethered to directly to the the connection, whether you have cable or fiber optic. To me, I see the speed difference in being tied in directly that way, and I'm always cautious and worried about, am I receiving the packets of data that are coming into my machine in reference to data feed quick enough versus being on a laptop. I feel like the further I get away from my router, things have got to have some, be a little bit slower, and there got to be some interference. All right. And the reason why I say this, how many of you out there may have, say, you're trading off your laptop, and then someone in the house turns on like your microwave, right? And if you got a powerful microwave, that tends to damper or can interfere with the signals or transmissions of Wi-Fi signals from the router to your actual laptop. I mean, sometimes it cuts it completely off. I know in my home, turning on our microwave, it could interfere with if someone's on like a, what am I trying to say? An iPad, all right, or some other device. Like my children have the Oculus devices and any other Wi-Fi or devices that they actually use. It interferes with that. Okay, so that's something, the reason why I prefer not to trade off of an actual laptop in my actual home. Now, I will say this: one of the perks of also, and that's probably one of the cons of actually trading from a laptop, is not being tied directly into the actual device itself and that data feed. I feel like the packets of information or data that's being transmitted, you may not be getting in, and it could be some interruption or some interference there where things may not be transmitted in real time. I should say it that way. Now, one of the pros I will say of having an actual laptop, of course, you should know you can use it no matter where you're actually at. I already talked about being in your home, but let's say you want to be on vacation somewhere on the opposite side of the globe, or just somewhere within the States. You could take it wherever you need to or want to be, and trade right on the beach. All right, if you choose to, while you're on vacation, you say, "Hey, me and my family taking 2 weeks vacation. I want to trade 2 days a week while we're away, just to make up the difference of any kind of money that was spent during that time frame while we're on vacation." You could do so. That's the beauty about trading with a laptop. But again, I prefer to be directly tied in, especially if I'm at home. Okay. Now, I will say this: one of the and that's probably the con I would say with having a desktop. You can't take your desktop with you. You can't take that big machine and lug it around. And some of these machines are smaller than the other ones, but still, who wants to carry around a big, heavy device like that? Even though they are kind of getting more compact these days. Laptops are the way to go if you are traveling and you want to be more remote about where where you're trading from. Now, again, I feel desktops overall, being directly tied in, is the best way to go. I will say this as well. Now, you can tie your laptop directly in to your Wi-Fi and be directly tied in or tethered in that way. I do that from time to time when I'm using a laptop, but I mean 95% of the time I'm using my desktop. I'll say that now, unless I am on vacation or away from home and I choose to want to do some trading. But I will say this: anyone out there who does have a desktop, I would recommend definitely looking into like a battery backup system. Like I have one that's near my desktop, or I should say near my trading workspace. I will say that now. And the reason why is because if the power goes off, right, I still have power for a certain period of time, whether it's for 15, 20, 30 minutes, or even an hour, depending on what type of power supply, a backup power supply you have. I have one through, I think it's called Cyber Power. Okay, so if my power goes off, I still, just because your power goes off, that doesn't mean your internet's off, right? Now, electricity just flows to your Wi-Fi and your router. Yeah, that power is cut if you lose power during a storm or just any type of electrical surge, whatever the case is. That's the beauty about having a battery backup supply. It's because when that power does go down, it can still be powering my router and my what am I trying to say? My modem at the same time, right? And by doing so, I still have, let's say I'm into a trade, right? And I don't have to be worried about, okay, what's going on with the trade? The power is out. I don't have anything that's backing up the power supply. But by having that power supply, if I'm into a trade, I can still actually either close my trade out, my position out, or stay into the trade because I got the juice to really, carry me through, right? So that's the beauty about having a battery backup. And then I had that tied to my desktop. So that's why I do most of my trading from my desktop. All right. So that's one thing about, trading with a laptop, who's going to be tied in that way directly to their, their battery backup supply, unless you have your laptop sitting at your desktop, to the right or left of you, whatever the case is. And you have it actually tethered or tied in to, your Wi-Fi router. Right. Now, again, that is the beauty about one of the definite perks about trading from a desktop environment. It's just so much capability of being able to have the power supply source when you need it, okay, being directly tethered into, that internet, flow or high-speed internet flow of data that's coming in directly to your machine. But that's the reason why you see me when I'm trading. I'm trading directly from my desktop, and I just feel more comfortable doing so than being on my laptop. Now, again, like I said, the pros are definitely the pros about having a laptop is being able to remotely trade no matter where you're at, whether it's the micro futures you want to trade or the e-mini futures directly, whatever it is you like to trade when it comes to trading futures. All right. So I just want to talk about that today because a lot of people have asked me personally, like, which one do I prefer trading from when it comes to working it from home, and more so it's going to be directly from my desktop versus the laptop. I see people that are part of the Discord, that trade from their laptops most time, and nothing wrong with that. So I'm sure probably have powerful machines that they're trading from, but I'm always just very conscious about what if scenario if things were the power was to go down. Am I really receiving data in real time? Is there any type of interference with that data coming across Wi-Fi back to my laptop machine? Things of that nature. But everyone has to make their own choice. Okay, so I want to talk about that before anyone is out there who's kind of touching the surface as far as researching what they should be using, what device they should be using. I'm not telling you which way to go. I'm just simply telling you that before you buy your first machine or PC, you have to weigh the options. Okay, if you are someone that's always on the move, laptop is going to be the way to go. If you're someone that's is mostly trading from a home environment, okay, or even your office workspace. Some of you probably are working full-time jobs and trading part-time on the side, and you're doing it probably from while you're at work from your employer's office somewhere. I'll be very mindful of doing that, but still, most of you are probably using a desktop or have a desktop system set up to where you can do that. Now, when it comes to which devices or equipment to actually buy, laptop versus desktop, I mean, things are changing so much. You don't have to have the most powerful thing out there or the most expensive. If you're just doing some simple general task, especially like, trading, and you don't have a lot going on in the background, you're not a heavy gamer, things of that nature. But if you're just simply just trading, checking your emails, browsing the internet, it's for light purposes only. You could get away with something that's, kind of, in between the price ranges from the low end to the high end. And, my desktop that I actually use is a HP, Pavilion, and with just a Ryzen 5 3500 6-core processor and with 32 gigs of RAM, and it does the job. Am I looking to possibly upgrade in the near future? Yeah, possibly so. It has a decent graphics card in it too. It has an NVIDIA. I have a GTX 1650 Super, and some of you are probably saying, "Wow, that's kind of outdated. It's not, it's not the." I don't need all that because I don't do all the, the gaming, higher refresh rates and things of that nature. I bought mine several years ago. Yeah, I mean it's outdated in comparison to things that I've hit in the market now. Okay, I can definitely be up for an upgrade. But it suffices. It does the job right now because I'm just doing my trading, checking emails, doing light business work off my desktop. Just the simple stuff, streaming from here and there. But other than that, I mean, I'm not a gamer, so I'm not on it playing, these video games that require high refresh rates or, when it comes to the monitors and things of that nature and the graphics quality. I don't need all that, okay? I'm looking at the charts. That's primarily what I'm doing, okay? Same thing with the laptop. I don't need the most expensive thing. So HP is definitely a great, to me, a great desktop or company that makes quality, machines. So, but there's plenty more out there, guys. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you which one to choose, whatever the case is. Some of you may be using the same version of what I'm using, just in the laptops. Okay, so you have to kind of pick and choose. Some of you, if you are gamers, and you may want to spend more money on systems. Okay, but still, there's you probably build your own system. Okay, you could build your own system for, you know, a nice amount versus going out and paying full price on retail. But anyways, I'm getting kind of far fetched. I'm just simply here to tell you that when it comes to trading futures as a whole, I prefer to be using my desktop. Nothing wrong, because if I'm at home, which most times I am, I'm working from home. That's what I'm using. All right. If I'm separating myself and I have to be more remote somewhere for a period of time, if I want to look at the markets, a laptop's the way to go. All right. So hopefully that makes sense, and that helps anyone out there that may have that question. But I would definitely kind of invest in, if you're someone that's setting up a home office, that battery backup. I got mine's from I think it's CyberPower is the company, and it does do the job. My power don't go off that often, but when it does, or when it has, you know, kind of we lost power, it gives me enough battery backup to do my thing as far as closing a trade, closing my system down, whatever the case is, and being done. All right. So hopefully that information helps out, guys. That's all I have. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please take the time to go ahead and sub by clicking that subscribe button down below. Make sure to turn your post notifications on so you don't miss any of the uploaded information or video content that I provide to the community. So please do so. Subscribe. If you haven't already, click that like button. You found today this information to be very helpful, or any of the video content which I've supplied here on the channel to be helpful, please make sure to click that like button too. Leave me a like on the video. If you want to become a elite or an elite or an ultra elite member, because I'm always getting DMs or questions about that, the link is down in the description portion of the video. That's where you receive direct information to the strategy and how I trade. Is, you know, a lot of good information there, a lot of additional video content that's not posted here on the public side of the channel. That's where I go into detail about the trade setups. I break things down in regards to the trade breakdowns, talking about structure, talking about the strategy, talking about where to place stop loss and profit target areas, talking about, I did a great video covering market structure. You also get the video playlist. Okay, it's a series of videos there that I've highlighted and picked out that provide, I guess, really the most important information in, you know, that video content that you need to probably watch as well. Or you can become an ultra elite member and receive everything I just discussed, and receive the my live recorded trading sessions, okay, and the market recap videos. All right, so I just want to talk about that as well. The link is down in the description portion of the video. Once you click it, it's titled Ultra Elite Supporter. You click that, 3 tiers are going to pop up within a matter of a couple of seconds. Choose either the elite or the ultra elite, and if you look, you know, into it, as you click on each tier, it's going to list the perks and rewards that you will actually receive for each tier. Very inexpensive for anyone out there who's interested. Thank you for everyone who does and is currently supporting the channel by becoming an elite or an ultra elite. All of you guys have nothing but positive feedback from you, letting me know that, hey, that video content that's made available for the elite and ultra elite members has really helped them out. I thank you guys for letting me know that, because that's the reason why I continue providing content, providing knowledge and information, because I want to see people truly succeed in this business, okay? But outside of that, that's really all I have today. Again, if you haven't already, drop a like on the video. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend.